You leave the conversation, but hours later you're still arguing with it in your head. On the outside, everything looks normal. You toss your keys down. You kick off your shoes. But in your mind, it is still happening. A sentence plays again. A look plays again. That small pause before they answered plays again. And you start trying to figure out what it meant. It starts like a habit. You tell yourself you are just reviewing it. Just checking. Just making sure. But then you are back in the moment. You hear your voice again. You hear theirs again. You think about your tone. You think about whether you sounded awkward. You think about the part where you talked too much or the part where you did not talk enough. And the strange part is, you can be running it back after a conversation that was not even bad. Nothing exploded. Nobody slammed a door. It was normal. But your mind treats normal like it still needs an explanation. Replaying it can feel like prevention. Like if you look at it closely enough, you can avoid the same pain next time. So your brain starts asking questions that have no clean answers. Did they like me? Did I say the wrong thing? Did I miss a cue? Did I make it weird? Did I disappoint them? It can feel like you are trying to be thoughtful. Like you are trying to be responsible. Like you are trying to grow. But a lot of the time, you are trying to feel safe. And safety is the real craving here. Not perfection. Not brilliance. Safety. When you run a conversation back, you are usually searching for one of two things. One is reassurance. Proof that you did not mess it up. The other is certainty. A way to reduce the unknown part of being human with other humans. Because connection is not fully predictable. You can mean well and still be misunderstood. You can be honest and still be rejected. You can be kind and still not be chosen. So your mind goes back. It tries to find a reason. It tries to find a rule. It tries to find a guarantee. If I say it this way, it will go well. If I stay smaller, I will not be criticized. If I stay polished, I will not be abandoned. But life does not give guarantees like that. Here is the part that people miss. This is not really about the conversation. It is about what the conversation represents. It represents belonging. It represents being wanted. It represents your place in someone's life. So if you grew up needing to read the room, this pattern makes sense. If you learned that approval could disappear fast, this pattern makes sense. If you were punished for getting it wrong, this pattern makes sense. Because your mind learned that social risk is not small. It learned that one moment can cost you something. So now, even when the present is safer, the old reflex still runs. You are not weak for that. You are not dramatic for that. You are responding to what you have lived through. The loop does not resolve because it is not a real puzzle. It feels like a puzzle because you are looking for a final answer. What did it mean? What do they think of me? Where do I stand? But those are moving targets. People change. Feelings change. Energy changes. Context changes. So the loop keeps going because it is trying to solve something that cannot be solved with thinking alone. And the cost is not small. It steals your attention from your day. It steals your ability to rest. It steals the simple feeling of being where you are. It can even start changing how you act. You become more careful, more edited, more tense, not because you are fake, because you are trying to avoid the sting you already know too well. There is a difference between learning and looping. Learning sounds like this. I did not like how I said that. Next time I will slow down a bit. I wish I had been clearer. Next time I will speak earlier. It is one pass. It is clean. It ends. Looping sounds like this. What if I ruined everything? What if they think I am annoying? What if I should text again? What if I should never text again? It is not about one improvement. It is about trying to remove uncertainty from connection, and that is why it feels endless. So what do you do with it? Not a strategy, not a set of steps, just a different relationship with what is happening. First, name it in simple language. My mind is doing the replay thing again. Then bring it back to the real question underneath. Am I looking for reassurance, or am I trying to force certainty? Because if you are looking for reassurance, you can give yourself a little reality. Most conversations are ordinary. Most people are thinking about themselves. One imperfect moment is rarely the whole story. And if you are trying to force certainty, you can tell the truth. There is no perfect way to be human and never risk being misunderstood. That is not a flaw. That is the price of connection. You do not need to win every conversation. You do not need to perform your way into safety. Sometimes the bravest thing is letting a moment stay incomplete. Letting it stay human. Letting it be what it was. You can still care. You can still reflect. But you do not have to live there. The conversation ended, and you are allowed to leave it behind.